kill your inner bitch. Or at least that's how I say it to myself when I'm not feeling my optimal. What's good, everybody? I think the constant battle of being your best and killing what I refer to as your inner bitch is a daily struggle for the majority of men. So what is your inner bitch? Well, your inner bitch essentially is that nagging voice, that insecurity spot. It's that voice that lets you know that you may not be ready for this, or you shouldn't be doing this because of this reason, right? It's that thing that can lead to imposter syndrome. It's that really dirty voice that if you didn't have it within your life, or you go off and you conquer the entire planet. Okay. I think within manhood and within your masculinity, one of the things that you should master is to quell this nagging voice that's within your head that causes you to feel scared about failure, that brings up conditions of anxiety. You have to know how to tame it. I got 3 main points here. And here's the first thing that I thought about. When you're faced with a task, you're faced with a mission, don't try to boil the ocean. What is it that I mean by that? Well, oftentimes what can happen when you're faced with a problem that deserves a solution, you try to accomplish the comprehensive solution. That's not the way to do that. If you do it that way, well, that's like trying to beat the last boss on a video game where you level 1 and the boss is level 99. That doesn't make sense. You should piecemeal the entire story ahead of the final boss so that you can gain the necessary experience points to level up. There's one moniker on the channel that I constantly talk about, and it's hashtag progress over perfection, all right? Trying to defeat that last boss, that's the perfection part, okay? We don't do that over here. We focus on the progress because we have to make room for the mistakes. We have to make room for the realities, the setbacks of a particular situation, right? We must piecemeal the particular solution because if not, it's too daunting of a task to think that we can conquer that, all right? There's a quote that I used to have on my Instagram back into the day, and it said, work 2 years of your life today and live the rest of your life like they are unable to tomorrow. And I think the ability to understand that not boiling the ocean means to work those 2 years, piecemealing that solution, and then after you complete that, well, then you've successfully conquered that inner bitch. Here's the second thing that I thought about. Identify and rid yourself of distractions, okay? Now focus on that first part. It's the identification of what is distracting you. I think that there's so many people that walk around today that don't even understand the things that take their attention away, because I think that the things that take your attention away potentially has a dopamine hit that goes into your brain that feels good with getting your attention taken away. But these things have been crafted in a way to manufacture good feeling. So here's what I do. I turn off my phone. I don't even put my phone in front of me. That's one of the biggest distractions that we have in modern society here today, because here's what it does. If you are trying to accomplish a task, your inner bitch will want you to focus on the easy dopamine hits, that easy gratification with looking at your text messages and seeing who was the last person that tried to contact you. I'll go up on your favorite social media of choice to see what's going on, what your friends are doing. Then you get that sense of FOMO, that fear of missing out, and you want to get where the action and the fun is. Meanwhile, you just wasted 25 minutes of your life not conquering your inner bitch. Okay. Identify and rid yourself of these distractions, because when you do, you could do what I call forcing urgency, because procrastination is the successful man's kryptonite. Listen, if you give me 8 hours to do a task, I'm gonna do it in 8 hours. If you give me 2 hours to do that same task, well, guess what? I'm gonna do it in 2 hours. Okay? Force that urgency, but you can't do that without removing the distractions in front of you. Okay? Here's the third thing that I thought about. Getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. You need to master this right here to conquer your inner bitch. Remind yourself that nothing worth achieving is fundamentally easy. If it was easy, well, it wouldn't be worth achieving. Get comfortable with being very uncomfortable. That sinking feeling that you feel when you're learning something new. And listen, it happens at all stages of life. That feeling, that growth period, I mean, you could kind of think of it as like when you went through puberty, and if you grew as fast as I did in such a short period of time, and your bones start to hurt, right? And you're walking around, your shoulders, your knees, knees, your tendons feel awkward. I remember one time I was sitting down in front of the TV, sitting Indian style, and my goddamn hip bone popped out the socket. I'll never forget that. And it snapped right back into place. I said, what the hell was that? That's growing pains. But instead of losing my mind, I understood a component of what that was, and I just sat and got comfortable with being uncomfortable. All right? Because there's been no stage of my life where, in order to experience growth, I was not uncomfortable, right? I was not the one that had the answers, and that foregoed all of the shit previously in my life that I considered a success. But when I stepped into this goddamn room right here in front of these people, I was uncomfortable as shit. But I got comfortable with that uncomfortability, and I sat and I killed my inner bitch in order to master the room, the subject, and the things around me. Anything worth achieving in life won't be easy, but you must kill your inner bitch in order to achieve.